Hi everyone, welcome back. Workshop number 24. After a little summer break, I thought we'd start off again by looking at the Flickr group. So this is workshop number 24, and we'll go straight to the Flickr group to look at the images which have been uploaded. And then later on, we'll talk about the opportunities we have for future assignments and ideas coming up, especially with the autumnal conditions that we're experiencing soon in our country. So hopefully you'll be seeing the Flickr group soon when I just get the photos up. Let me just check that that's happening. I think we're okay with that. So there's been quite a number of photographs, and thank you so much for putting your photographs up on the Flickr group. Let's start off basically where we ended up. The last one was a beautiful landscape by Steve Perkins, which was superb. The next image was updated by Robin Chun. Thank you for loading this up, Robin. A nice street photograph using mono image and emphasizing the light through the pillars, and then sort of in a way reflecting that in the hooped coat that she's wearing. It's a nice simple image. My only thought on it was this very light patch in the right hand corner, which is obviously being created by sunlight. It's not flare in the camera or the lens, but to be quite honest with you, I would like to have seen this image tightened up a little bit by a vignette to take this lighter area down. My eye is attracted to that right hand lower corner, and I think you could have improved the image by adding a vignette and bringing some detail back into that light area. So have a look at that. It's a nice square format, and I wouldn't really want to change that. But I think if you put, as I say, the vignette into those corners, I think that would help the image. But thanks for posting it, Robin. The next image, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, don't even put that up. That's ignore. This is a street photograph again by Robin. A nice image, nice idea. You've caught the man in front there. He's obviously deep in thought. I think it lacks a little bit of a punch here. So I'll have a tendency to try and put a little bit more exposure into it in Lightroom, make it a little bit brighter. Again, work on the vignettes in the corners and basically make the center of the image a little bit brighter. I like the effect you've got here of the guys walking past with a blurred, showing movement. And it's interesting, isn't it? You can see the 1 foot, which is still by the gentleman there in the foreground. And yet you've got a great concentration of the old fella in the back with his dog, deep in thought. And so I would try to make the center of this image a little bit brighter and a little bit more punchier than what you've got here. But otherwise, it's a very good street photograph and well spotted, and it's a great idea which you've thought out there. Next image again by Robin. Very contrasty image using the natural light coming through the roof section here, reflecting off the the diagonal escalators. Yeah, I like this image. Probably, if anything, I would have done a little bit of selection tool on the ladies. Just come up the escalator on the left hand side and just give her a little bit more exposure. So I've got an area to move toward, to concentrate on. She's important to this image because she's come up the escalator. So that's an area which I would look at improving. But otherwise, I really like the contrast and the dynamics that you've created using the using the escalator here. Next one is by John Ilko. Yes, John, a nice capture here. You've spotted this truck, beaten up old truck. You've got 42 favorites, 6 comments, 761 views. I'm not going to over criticize this one at all because effectively there's nothing wrong with it. I would have liked to have seen it in color, I think, but even so, you've done it in the mono using the X30. A great little camera, f11 28.4mm. Yeah, it's got its little zoom in there, hasn't it, the X30? Yeah, it's a great square format image. I love it. and yeah, it's well composed. The tree on the right hand side and the truck just off center slightly, which gives you that natural feed in to the main subject, the truck, as I say, with this tree on the right hand side. So yeah, nicely done. Next image by Robin. I've really gone for a very contrast image here. And I think, if anything, this needs to be square format. There's too much on the right-hand side, which is too dark. And I think if you'd made it square format, then you would have concentrated more on the lighter areas and using this silhouette in the front by the passing by person. It needs to be made stronger by in this image, and by making it stronger, I think you need to just, as I say, make this into a square format and bring the square basically to the right hand side of the lighter area of that building. In other words, you're probably losing about a third of the image, and I think that would have made for a stronger image and for the viewer. Another one Robin's taken inside the inside this shopping mall. It doesn't work for me, Robin, unfortunately, because these subjects on the left-hand side, where you've got some people that have walked away, and the lighter area is on the right-hand side. The subject, being the silhouette, should be in the lighter area. Straight architectural shot, you could probably take this straight in half, and you've got the lines and receding lines of the images, which would make for a great abstract image, I suppose. But I think it's lost where you've got as I hope you can see my cursor, the individuals are in a darker area and there's no detail. So I would like to have seen those on the right hand side. John's posted this image of the Pasco County courthouse. Lovely balanced image. You've used the vignettes nicely. Watch your verticals, John. That's all I would say. This seems to me to be leaning a little bit to the right. Now, you've probably taken it on one of these pillars as your vertical, but I think you should be looking at the leading edge as your vertical. And I think if you've taken that as your leading edge, this one on the left-hand side of the building, that image would would straighten up. And that's the only thing I would say. Watch your verticals when you're taking photographs of buildings. Now, understandably, unless you've got a tilt shift lens, you are going to get buildings with edges of buildings sort of receding and coming in from lower to the higher part of your image. But this one, I think you could have corrected that very slightly by just dropping a line on that in Lightroom, and that would have straightened the image up a little bit more. Wouldn't be worried then about the other columns being out of sync, because they naturally will be tending to lean into the left-hand side. But it's this line here on the front edge of the building which needs to be corrected to give it that feeling that it's upright. At the moment, it appears to be leaning to the right slightly to me. If you've probably taken the line down the center, and in my opinion, that's not the best position to take. You should take it on this leading edge here on the corner of the building. 18 favorites though, well done. Next one, Stephen Green's given us a lovely abstract, buildings up into the sky. I can't find anything wrong with it at all. You've got great detail in the cloud. You're really making me think, what is it? Are they pillars? Is it buildings? Is it some kind of monument? But it's and you've got the right title, Looking Up, installation by Bernard Schottlander. Yeah, it's a monument, isn't it, in Milton Keynes? Yes, I like this image. I like this image a lot. Thank you, Stephen. And well deserved, 206 favorites. Now, Stephen's shown us another image here. It's obviously the same monument or same sculpture, same design which has been put up. And you've used it really well with regards to the colors of the end of the pillars here, shadow, and then the sky in the background. So again, a nicely formatted image, and it's well balanced. You've tried to work this so that you get some form of balance. It's in the center, So yeah, well done for that. Using the Canon EOS 100D. Next image, Christopher Warren's uploaded these two athletes. One's obviously had a little word in the ear as they've either finished or about to start their race. Crop wise, I think there's a couple of things here. I would have tried to get rid of this yellow here, and you could have quite easily have selected that and desaturated that color just subtly, not extensively. And I think you could also lose this green, and that's where I would put the crop down the left-hand side here, across this guy's shoulder. So you get rid of the red and the green there, and I'll do the same on this side, just down on this guy's shoulder here, just outside the Adidas logo. Tight crop. Look if a square format would work, but one thing you've got to look for on the edge of the crop. Once you've done it, you've got to make sure there's no colors that are going to be sort of a distraction for the eye to flow out of the image. Your concentration is right in the center of these two, having this what appears to be a conversation. I would select the center and just add in the selector tool on Lightroom and just add a little bit of exposure just to give those guys a more central attention and a little bit more of a point of where you're looking at the image. You don't want to be drifting off out of the image here with these lighter areas. Your main concentration is in the center here of these two fellas. That was one of mine. Thank you for the 12 favorites. I was working on a workshop with a couple of guys, and the idea was to work with something in the background and just to take photographs of individuals walking past. And it's just so happened this lady walked past with these sunglasses, which are quite popular at the moment, and it caught the sun. And I call it Sun's Out, Shades Are On. And I've had a couple of comments, one from a good friend, Thorpe. And thank you very much indeed for those for that comment. I was really pleased with it. I've done a little bit of saturation, sharpening, and the like, but the main point is so that the person is walking into the image. She's not on the edge walking out of the frame. I'm gonna have to clean up our Flickr group. Someone's been putting some advertisements on. Okay, the next image here was another one of mine, and called it Looking Back. This is a second-hand bookseller underneath a bridge on the South Bank in London. And I was really very pleased with it. I was really, really pleased with it until I got a fantastic comment made to me by Thorpe. Looks like the to-be red pile on the bedside table. Quite agree with you, been there myself. And then he made a very good point, which again I didn't spot. And this is the value of having you guys to make comments on not only my images but your own images and other people's images. I like the dappled light on the books in the foreground, but my eye keeps being drawn to the hot spot in the center of the image. And he's so right. Look, right in the center there. I didn't even see this, stupidly. Hotspot. So in a later image which I posted on 500px, I literally copied this section and put it over in the center, and it looks a hell of a lot better. And on 500px I've had quite a few favorites and likes to it. So thank you so much for the comment, and that just goes to show you how valuable it is by us making comments on people's images. And let's not take it personally. It's trying to help each other in this group. Lovely image here by Steve of a pier using the rocks, a natural lead into the image. A little bit of a sunset at dawn, yeah. Yeah. I love the coloration of this and the concentration of light here leading into what's in the background. There's just one thing. Cloud here. It looks like a smudge on your sensor, but it's not. It's a cloud. I would have cloned that out. It drew this little alleyway between the rocks, for argument's description, leads me straight to that mark. And it's not a mark, it's a cloud. And I would clone that out. Other than that, love it. And so does everyone else. 52 favorites. Scampani making a little bit of play here with a double exposure. Does it work? For some it will, others no. 29 favorites, 624 views. So there's people out there that like it. Canon EOS 700D. I'm going to assume is some form of a drinking glass, beer glass, and he's just done a play here on a double exposure. Interesting image. I think this dark spot here is too large in the image. I would do a square format on this and crop the bottom third off. Grant Newland, great landscape shot. Cannot fault it. Deserves far more than 6 favorites. You've got quite a few favorable comments here. Thorpe has put his comments in there as well. Absolutely beautiful. And well, you're using the 1855 in brackets kit lens, and we all know Fuji users, it is not a kit lens in any shape or form. It is a fantastic lens which works perfectly with the Fuji cameras. X Pro 2 this as well. Love it. Beautiful image. Why you've only got 6 favorites here, Grant, I just do not know. You've got to share that out a little bit more to get more favorites in the image. Interesting image here by Okaja. It's a street shot. Caught the guy sitting in his smart car and 2 ladies walking on the other side. How could have improved it? I'm led to the top right-hand corner for some reason, where you've got the lattice work of the shutter of the building. I'll put a little vignette in there. I'd put a little bit of a spot flash using the selector tool on the gentleman's face just to draw my attention. He's the old guy in this image, and there's 2 relatively younger ladies in the left-hand side. Crop factor, I think, is fine, but there's a couple of things. I would, in actual fact, help the guy out as well. I'd improve his car bodywork. I'd get rid of these scratches here. There's a couple of little dinks here. There's a mark there and a scratch on his car. I'd help the guy out and improve his car for him. And there's a couple of scratches on the handle here. I'd certainly try and do those improvements. The vertical just slightly off there. You've got to be careful with verticals. I know the car is naturally a sports car and it's sloping to the left, but so just keep mindful on that. But definitely tidy up his car for him, make it look really slick and clean. I'm going to have to tidy some these guys have got in here somewhere, I don't know. Right, now this is a really interesting image, because when I first saw it, oh, fair enough, it's a lady walking past a poster, Zara, lovely, very nice. And then what caught my eye was the bucket in the left-hand corner here, which is obviously Kentucky Fried Chicken, but the bucket color matches the color of the girl's skirt or shorts. And that, to me, makes the image. You deserve more favorites than this. It needs to be shared out more, because this is good street work. Because if it's by luck, great. But if you've worked it out and seen it and you've waited, superb. You've got the shadow of the girl, a little bit of dapple shadow on the bottom here. There's obviously some trees behind. That's great. And I love it. Zara. But this is what makes the image. That bucket with the shorts or the skirt. Well done. Scampani doing a little bit of a play here with some grasses and leaves. For mono lovers, it will work. He's obviously making a point with regards to the harvest. This time it's hit hard. I don't think I'm missing anything here. It is a good work of light and depth and tone, as Thorpe has made the comment, and you've got quite a nice little following there, 23 favorites. I can't fault the image at all. It's sharp, beautifully sharp. It's one of those images, if it was in color, someone would be demanding that there's some form of red in there or a different color if these were all green or a common color, and you'd be looking for that spark to catch your eye. But in this case, it's a straight mono image, beautifully sharp, and it is that leaf there which catches your eye, which is fine. It's campaigning again with a spirit of the age, taken of an old castle here, and you've done really well there. Lovely flowing skyline. Maybe a little bit more detail could be brought out in the image in the center here by just brightening up the image, but it's sharp, as you can see, and there's no halo around the edge of the castle, so well done for that. Because if you do start, as I've mentioned before, start bringing in clarity to your images, you can go over the top with the halos on the outside edges of buildings in particular. But no, I like this image. It worked well. I would just made a little bit of selection tool there. Just give me a little bit more central light for the image. That's my only comment. 29 favorites again. Well done. Grant posted this one up with taken in Christchurch in a river, and I like the image, but I'm wondering whether there's too much foreground, because this rower, this guy punting down the river, to my mind is a little bit too far away. I'd like him to be further down the river in this sort of area where I'm trying to show with my cursor. You got some ducklings here and little family swimming around. I would have taken that lower slither off to improve the image, basically to try and get that guy who's punting down the river a little bit closer to me. Once again, though, using the Fuji X Pro 2 with the 1855 lens. You've got some lovely comments. Thorpe likes it, it relaxes him. John Ilko, very nice. And Wanda Amos, nice work. It is a nice image. For me, though, I just take that bottom slither off to try and bring this guy a little bit closer to me. Lovely image here by Steve Perkins. Beautiful movement of the water with his branch coming from the top right of the image, dipping into the water as as the tide's coming in and the waves are coming ashore. I've got nothing to say about this image at all, apart from the fact it's well composed, beautiful coloration. If you've done some editing work on it, it's well done, and you deserve the 96 favorites there. Fuji X-T1 at 50mm, 50mm lens. I'm assuming that is that 50mm. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's a lovely image. And you deserve the 96 favorites there. Loads of comments as well. Let's see what the comments are. Yeah, I was going to ask about Aperture 1. Have you used a third-party lens? You got loads of awards from other groups, which is lovely to see. Yeah, there you go, the bottom. Thank you, Steve. He's using the Samyang 12mm f2, and you use third-party lenses on the Fuji. It either registers as f1 or 0. So yeah, that explains that. But other than that, it's a beautiful image. I'm gonna have to go through and get rid of all this garbage that started to come through. Grant's posted this one. Beautiful landscape image. Again, I've got nothing to add to it to say where it could be improved. It is just a beautiful mirror image of the lake, Queenstown, pretty close to Trey Ratcliffe country, I think. Grant, 5 favorites. You need more than that. We've got to start sharing these images out and getting your name out there. Lovely, lovely image. Another image which I really like, but I'm a little bit concerned about the way this water is falling into the pond or the higher levels of this lake by the looks of things. To my mind, water should drop vertically. So the question is, on that basis, the image hasn't been set correctly. Now, if you've taken a horizontal line, then that's, which is the normal route for people to take for especially for landscapes, then I can understand why this water is slightly off to the right. Although you have got this one here, this set of water dropping here, which is almost vertical. I'd like to see what would happen if you put a vertical drop in the center of that waterfall, and then I think it would all seem to tie in. Have you used? You've used that Samyang again. I think you've used that Samyang again, which is throwing out the verticals in the ultra wide angle of the image, which does cause itself problems. Yeah, as you say there in the thing, Samyang, 12mm. That's why you're getting it. I can understand now. I didn't see that below before. In this image, Steve, I would take a perpendicular vertical line in Lightroom on this central line here, straighten it up there, and then just look to crop a little bit left and right, and then it doesn't matter what the waterfall does outside of that center. At the moment, the waterfall looks as though it's coming in from top left to bottom right. 62 favorites. Lovely street photograph by Okaja here. I love this. Disappointed with your favorites, so you should be getting more than this. XT1 1855, great coupled up lens and camera there. Beautiful light on the central person. That's fine. Maybe you could have put a little bit more detail in this one. The lady off to the right under the pinkish umbrella, just a little bit, because obviously she's in shadow, so you don't want to make the image look stupid. But I think if you just put a little flash of exposure here on a selected tool, I think it would just balance it a little bit more with regards to seeing her, because I want to see her face, but do appreciate it is in shadow. The other thing which I'll do here, I would crop this individual off here. So I'd bring a crop line straight down the left-hand side. This area here does nothing to the image at all. There's the image here in the center, and I'm not worried about the extra bit on the right-hand side. They're walking into that space. Crop this off on the left-hand side. It's a distraction. Nice bit of work. I am concerned about the uprights, and it is a wide angle lens that's being used. I don't know whether it'll actually show what wide angle lens you've used, because you've definitely got some kind of lens effect here where this is bowing very slightly. The building is the important one, the leading edge. It's leaning far too much for my liking. I would straighten that up, and I'd be quite happy to put up with the cross being like it is. I would crop off the right-hand side, because you've got some light here and it's affecting where I'm looking. So I would balance that up on the other side and just take a slither off the left-hand side as well. But watch your verticals in buildings, especially this type of shot that you've created here. I think your main concentration is on the cross, which is fine, but I think it would be a better image if you concentrated on the upright of the building by concentrating on this leading edge of the square tower. Keyboard. Can't say anything about this. Perfectly sharp, nicely lit, high key image. I like the way you've used the ploy on the title. I like the composition. I think it's great. I think it's great. And that's all the images there are so far uploaded to the group. Absolutely superb set of images which you've posted up for me to look at. I hope the presentation went okay for that. On that, I'm using Chrome today. I forgot to use Safari. So yeah, when you're taking photographs of buildings, especially, watch your verticals. Unless you really want to emphasize that, in that case, make that angle more on the building so that people realize that you are trying to make something a little bit fine art of your architectural building. If they're just slightly kinked off, then it is a distraction, and the only way to choose is the leading edge of the building, which probably isn't the central part of that building. It's the leading edge of the building, of the angle that you've taken the photograph. Make sure that's perpendicular, and then put up with the rest of how the actual camera affects the building with the lines which are which naturally will go from the outside of the frame and go up to the center, to the top of the image. Unless you've got a tilt shift lens, or you've made enough in the initial image to straighten up in Photoshop, there's nothing you can do about that. But there are some very, very good examples of work done like that using that process. So I hope you appreciate the comments I've made on your work. There's some stunning landscapes there. Be careful of your horizontals, be careful of verticals, even in landscapes. Be careful of verticals, especially in that waterfall shot that we were talking about. With the Samyang lenses, the ultra wides, the 8 and the 12mm, you're looking for that effect, admittedly, but you're not looking for the effect in the center. You're looking for the effect on the outside of the image, in my opinion, using that sort of lens. And there's some great abstract work and fine art work that you can create using ultra wide lenses. So well done for using that. And thank you very much indeed for posting up. I'm going to go back into Flickr now and erase those advertisements which have appeared. I've only just noticed those today, so I don't know how they got in. Suffice to say, thanks again for watching. In the future, we're going to be, next show, I think we'll talk about autumnal colors, because we're approaching the autumn here in the UK. So we'll look to get probably an assignment of putting some autumnal photographs out there. I'm going to leave the Flickr upload to 3 images. Maybe if you've got already some new coloration of leaves coming out in your local area, post them up and we'll have a talk about it. And then we'll go from there with regards to setting an assignment for maybe some indoor work. So how about you making some suggestions on the discussion side of the group? What would you like to do with regards to an assignment, an indoor assignment? Give me some of your ideas of that. I don't know, paper, silver paper, maybe some flowers, or dead flowers, some feathers, whatever. Just give me an idea of what you would like to do, and we'll have a good chat about it and set an assignment. And we'll try and finite those assignments down to what you're looking to do. But at the same time, as we've had some discussion on it, I really want you to experiment and just sort of push out as far as you can. I want you to start thinking outside the box of simple, straight photography to improve your photography. Thanks for watching, and we're back on track now, so look out for the next workshop. All the best to you. Bye for now.